Kia ora koutou. Welcome back to another episode of Matua's Mātauranga, where we are today going over how to use the kei and keite, technically they're different, particles. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe because I really, really enjoy it when people like and subscribe. I just realized my eyes on the tide mode still. Whoopsie. That's awkward. I'm gonna leave this in because it's kind of funny to me at least. So yeah, let's get into this. Also, yes, I have decided to leave the zinger box on my head for the rest of this video because it's kind of funny if you ask me. But anyways, so what do we use the K and Kaite particles for? Well, the primary meanings behind them usually revolve around something in the present tense and normally an action or location. So to begin with just K, present location. Kei runga ngā manu, the birds are above. So if we're using K, it means right now. And if it's K and then a word, like a noun or a location word, then it normally is implying it's at that. Another example, Kei hea ia, where are they? Because hea, where, Kei, location. Yeah. Okay, let's try that again because I just got interrupted by people outside. And now there's a car driving past. I love my life in this fucking garage recording sometimes. But anyways, now we are moving from K to Keite, which can be a little bit different because here we're talking about location, but now we're talking about an action in the present moment. So you can think of this kind of like the, I guess you can think of it as ing as well, like both M and ing, for verbs at least. So for our first example, kei te ota au te ika, I am eating raw the fish. And then here for another example, kei te poke poke ia I te paraoa ki te wai. They are mixing, I should have highlighted the ing, because really that's more what it's like, the flow of the water. Now for this one, I've made a little kind of dumb example here because whare isn't a verb in Māori at all, but to illustrate the difference, because sometimes you will need to differentiate between keite and kei, and then te yada yada yada. So for example, kei te whare would be at home, kei te whare would be homing, housing, some form of ing word. So, basically, to tell the difference, you would have to really just look at the context, to be quite honest. Like, just the context or even what word is used. Like, for example, if you were to say, okay, runga, as we did before, well, runga is a location word, so we know it's probably saying it is up. But then if we say, oh no, kei te runga, my bad, kei te runga would be, it's at the top. But then, kei te oma would be, it's running or running, because oma is normally an action, whereas runga is a location. And that's basically how you can tell the difference. If it's a location or a noun, it's very likely a locative sentence, but if it's a verb, it is more likely to be an action sentence. Well, then now for our next usage we're going to look at is possession. So basically, in Māori, this kind of functions similar to has, but normally refers to it being like actually with the person. So if I was to say in English, I have a key, but it's at home, I wouldn't say like, I wouldn't use K for this. But if I had the key on me, then I would use K. So for example, kei Timothy te paoro, Timothy has the ball, or the ball is at Timothy, because really it's kind of like saying the ball is on him. Like when you ask like, oh, who has the keys? Oh, it's on that one. It's on that guy. Kind of like that. For another example, kaya waitaku moni, who has my money, or my money is with who. So basically, kei, and then person name, and I mean, there probably will be an R at the front because R marks a person or pronoun. So if you see kei and then a person or pronoun, then it's very likely it's talking about who has something on them, like te paoro or poro in standard Māori. Now this is a pretty new usage for me. I haven't actually seen this before. Like, I only just learnt it today when I was like looking at a bunch of the meanings in Te Aka earlier. It can be used to mean like. For example, he horo te hoiho kai te tereina. Tereina. The horse is fast like a train. Evidently, if we look back into Aka, hold on. We need to go back to just K, not Kate there. Down here, it's a very specific example here, which I believe means it's only used in situations where you're saying it's like something else, but in a comparative type of manner. So, you know, saying X is like Z. And for another example, he maha ngā tāngata kei te huinga. There are many people like a congregation. But that being said, I feel like in this instance, it could be confused with saying he maha ngā tāngata kei te huinga in the sense of there's many people at the congregation. So, evidently, I'm not too confident on how to actually use this. So, if you have any more ideas or like knowledge on how you're supposed to use this, please feel free to put it in the comments. I would really like to know the difference between, you know, using this and other examples. But yeah. Now here's one that shows up in a lot of phrases. Kei for lest. For example, ke mate ururoa, kei mate wheke. That's a pretty popular hakatauki, which obviously means die like a shark, lest you die like an octopus, or aka fight to your last breath, don't give up. But here, we have our first sentence, and then we start the next sentence with kei, and then our verb. So, if it was kei te mate wheke, that would be you are dying or is dying like an octopus, but just kei mate wheke, lest you die like an octopus, or lest die an octopus. Another one here. Ke korekwe e maranga anō, lest you never waken again. Very scary sentence, but wow. I feel like you could use that on someone you hate. So again, we have kei and then straight to the verb instead of kei te, which makes it lest instead of is. Now again, if it was kei te korekwe e maranga anō, you are not awakening again. Or something similar to that. I'm not too sure how you would rephrase that in English, to be quite honest. It's kind of annoying sometimes to turn Māori into English, because it never was meant to be. Then next here, we have another usage that I have heard before, I was just never aware of, which is using kei as a term of address. Basically, when you say, like, e kara, e tama, e rangatira, you can replace the e with kei, but only for native Māori words and titles. So, kei te rangatira, to the chief or leader, kei tā marama, to the elders, but if you said kei te Timoti, that would be incorrect because Timoti is Timothy, which means it's a loan word. So, you would still use e te Timoti, or e Timoti even. Because again, te can also be used as another form of address. But that's a subject for another video. And then finally, to end this off, we have its usage to emphasize in storytelling, which is something also I only learned while reading through this. If we look here, sometimes used as a stylistic device when narrating a story set in the past to add excitement to the account. For our example here, ka ua hine moana ki te waiariki raka, ka te hakamahana ia ia. E uri no nā I te māeke. When hine moana reaches the hot pool, she warms herself. Kei te hakamahana. Because she is shivering from the cold. So basically, just think of it as a way to make your stories more interesting, I guess, if you use kite there. And well then, that's about it for today. So, if you have anything else you want me to talk about, please put it in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you all later. Ka kite.